Yo, what's up everybody? How you doing? This is your coach Renz, and on this video we're going to talk about how you create heaven on earth and also how you can create hell on earth, and what's the difference in how to raise your consciousness to that level. Now before we go there, I want everybody to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Now if you're watching this on Facebook, what I need you to do is go over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Even if you continue to watch my videos on Facebook, just go over to YouTube and subscribe. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. So in this video, I was having a conversation earlier this evening with a young man, one of my subscribers, and that conversation reminded me of some things that I have been talking about before, and I want to give you guys a quick little video about that. Here's the deal: heaven and earth. We all know that all the books, all the holy books, all talk about how you can create heaven on earth. That the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven, is right here with you. But all those books also tell you that the kingdom of hell is also right here on earth. And to many people that escapes their mind. They can't really conceive that. How is heaven and hell here on earth when it's supposed to be something that you experience after you leave earth? That creates a paradox for many people. So I want to help break that down for you and give you it in examples that make sense for you. First, we're going to look at it from 3 different points. And this is the 3 different points I look at most things because it makes it easy to understand and it's easy to count and measure. The first one we're going to talk about is money. How do you create heaven? How do you create hell in the kingdom, in earth right now based on money? It's quite simple. So you have one person who makes $100,000 a year. You have another person who makes $50,000 a year. The person who makes $100,000 a year, they spend pretty much every dime. They find themselves in the negative all the time. That person is in a financial hell. They're not in financial heaven, they're in a financial hell. Now, because that person is in a financial hell, because they're always stressed, they're always trying to figure out how they can save money, how they can get out of their debt situation because they're in the negative. Maybe they are spending 110% of what they make, so they're always robbing Peter to pay Paul. They're always worried about, can they pay the light bill? Can they pay the water bill? Can they pay the mortgage? Can they pay their car note? Can they pay their insurance? Can they? That's the question that they're always asking. So their life is filled with stress. Their health starts to deteriorate. Their relationships start to deteriorate. Their relationship with themselves deteriorate. This person is in a hell loop on earth. They have made earth their prison. They have made earth their fallen. Because they have fallen, they have made earth their prison. So they are in hell. Now, the person who makes $50,000, this person manages their money well. They're following a plan like my 70-10-10-10 plan. By following that, they always have money to pay all their bills. They never worry about paying their rent, paying their mortgage, paying their car note. They never worry about their insurances. They never worry about food. They don't worry about their lights ever being turned off. They know if the lights get turned off, they will turn off because of a power surge or something like that. They're not worried. They get to enjoy life. They get to go and develop the relationships and participate in the hobbies that they have. This person is in a financial heaven, meaning that it doesn't matter how much money you make as to whether or not you're in financial heaven or hell. It's about how you manage the money. Another situation, your health. Many of you, most people are in poor health. Most people are overweight. Most people are stressed out. Most people have some type of blood deficiency or issue that's going on. Most people have some type of disease that they blame on genetics. But in truth, it's based on your decisions of what you eat and how much exercise you engage in and how you de-stress. So if a person is the type that goes through life stressed out, the type of person who eats fast food, the type of person who go and they never exercise, and that person will find their health starting to deteriorate. They're living in a state of hell as far as their health is concerned. But then you take the person who doesn't overeat, who engages in some level of exercise, who is enjoying the environment that they're in, and their health is good, and that person is in in heaven of health. And that's the type of person that we want to look to be, right? We want to be that type of person. Right? So you have that in heaven and hell. Also, let's look at one more. We're going to look at relationships and how it works in a relationship situation. When you're in a relationship with someone, But the relationship is filled with hate and discontent. It's filled with stress. You're always biting at one another. You're always arguing with one another. You find it that life is complacent and boring with that person, but you still remain there, or that person is abusive, or you are abusive, or you're in a situation with that person and there's no intimacy, there's no connection, there's no that time spent with one another in loving embrace or communicating or talking to one another. You're in a relationship that's hell driven, that's surrounded by hell, that's stressing you out. But when you're in a relationship where you're constantly thinking and constantly doing, and let me express that completely, where you're doing for one another, where you're doing things, showing that you are affectionate, showing that you're intimate, showing that you love them, showing that you care for them, showing that you have their best interest at heart. Because a lot of people talk about it and say what they want to do or what they plan on doing, but they don't do it, so your words mean nothing. If you are actively showing and receiving that type of love, then you are in a relationship that is blessed in heaven, that is in heaven right now. Now here's the crux of the matter. In order for you to create heaven on earth, you got to get into a financial state of heaven, a physical state of heaven, and an emotional state of heaven. You have to have all three. The triangle being the strongest shape in the universe. You have to get into that situation, that state where financially, health-wise, and emotionally, meaning your love life and your relationship life with family, friends, romantic, when those things are in a state of bliss, then you have reached heaven on earth. It is when those things are out of balance. When any one of those are out of balance, then you're not completely in heaven. You have somewhat of hell. And when you can do that, you will realize that your level of consciousness will ascend, that your state of being will ascend, that you won't be stuck into this hell loop of earth that you're in right now. I believe that many people are stuck in a hell loop, and they'll make some money and things be great, and then they are not practicing financial discipline and things go south. Or they're practicing great financial discipline, but they're so out of balance that their love life and their health is still out of balance. And they continue this hell loop of just experiencing this little piece, but then the majority is this little piece of heaven, but then the majority is in hell. And they keep revolving around that over and over again their entire life. And for those who believe that you come back to this existence until you figure it out, then you'll repeat that until you figure it out. That's until you figure it out. But if you want to break this hell loop, then you have to get your financial health, your physical health, and your relational health in heaven in order to break your hell loop. And as it was said, and as I said on a previous video, the doors of your hell loop are always open. The door is never locked. You can always walk out. All you have to do is get to the point where you have made the decision that this is what it's going to be, that I'm not going to feel guilty. I'm not going to live in shame. I'm not going to live in fear. I'm going to change my situation. I'm going to make the decision to live in heaven of these things. It doesn't matter how much money I make, I can live in heaven. It doesn't matter what I have access to, I can physically live in heaven. And it doesn't matter what I need to do to commit myself to the person that I'm claiming that I want to be with for the rest of my life. I'm going to commit to that person. You commit to your job, you go outside of yourself for your job, you go outside of yourself for your kids, you go outside of yourself for your parents, you go outside of yourself for friends. But that person that you said that you want to spend the rest of your life with, you don't go outside of yourself for them. You must go outside yourself in order to create an emotional, relational heaven. So therefore, if you get all three of those in order, then you create the kingdom of heaven in your life on earth right now. So I hope you guys understand that. So you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is not negotiable. And this has been your Coach Ren. And please continue to subscribe and support me on Patreon.